Marc Girardelli cumple 60 años. Creo que el mejor regalo que le podemos hacer, o que él nos puede hacer, o que nos podemos hacer los dos, es una entrevista, una conversación entre amigos, una charla amena y distendida, repasando un poquito su vida, su evolución, la diferencia entre el pasado y el presente, hablando un poco del futuro, hablando de amigos, de conocidos, de gente del mundo del esquí. Marc Girardelli es una persona súper abierta, súper cercana, me cae muy bien, es majísimo. Tengo que deciros que es una de las personas del mundo de la nieve con más ganas y con mayor capacidad de comunicación que he conocido. Y vamos a saludarle, vamos a hablar con él en su 60 aniversario para hablar de detalles. Le hemos enviado unas preguntas por email, vamos a hacer una entrevista en profundidad para Nevasport, pero hoy vamos a hacer un poco un resumen audiovisual. Marc, this is the reduced version for internet of the interview that I have to send to you, where you can go as long as you way. Okay, puedes alargarte todo lo que quieras por texto. Ahora haremos una short version para internet. 60 years old. Happy birthday, Marc Girardelli. Congratulations, thank you for all, thank you for your life. Now, the 60s are the ancient 40s. You remember Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt, and Marc Girardelli. You still perfectly, you're still alive, that's the most important, after a lot of injuries, after a lot of accidents. Thank you for coming, thank you for staying here, Marc Girardelli.
Thanks a lot for the compliment.
Marc, what do you think has changed most radically when it comes to understanding competitive skiing from the 80s to the present? What is the most important difference between the past and the present?
So the quantum effect was definitely around 2000 when the carving era started, from the old long skis with no side cut to the shorter carving skis with a lot of side cut. So that revolutionized the whole racing scene and also the snowboard scene, because actually it is coming from snowboard. The snowboards had originally more side cut, and this idea was transported into the ski industry, and it changed the skiing inside the race competition as well as for touristic skiing completely. And this was the biggest step in the last 100 years, I would say. But since then, it didn't change a lot. What changed was definitely the preparation of the slopes. Due to the carving era, they need to make more ice on the slopes because there is more pressure. The course setting regulations had to change, and so also the preparation of the slopes had to be more flat, not so much bumps inside, because the speed in the turns is much higher. But in general, I think the sport became more attractive than, let's say, 30, 40 years ago. It's more fast, more dangerous. I think this is positive for the viewers.
Now let's talk about the friends. Let's talk about the rivals, the rivalry. More than 30 years later, do you keep in touch with Brenny Schneider, Pirmin Zurbriggen, Alberto Tomba, and the others?
For sure. With Brenny Schneider, we have a very good relationship because I produce ski wear for ski schools, ski clubs, and whole ski resorts. And Brenny Schneider is a customer with her ski schools since many, many years from my ski wear. With Pirmin, I talk him once in a while. I have more contact to her cousin. She is the owner of a very famous ski hut in Zermatt. And Chef Froni is one of the most famous ski huts in the world, and she makes a fabulous job. So I meet her more often than Pirmin. But anyway, Pirmin, he is hiding himself too many times in church, so I don't meet him so often. And with Tomba, with Alberto, I have a steady contact. We call each other definitely every month one time.
How did how did you experience media pressure during the 80s and the 90s? If we speak about the media, television, radio, because in the 80s doesn't exist, internet doesn't exist, uh, how you can how you can work with the media press. That it's the same depression during the competition and in your private life if we compare with today, with the yellow press, with internet, with the paparazzis, how you can live with the media press during the 80s?
I think it's an attitude of the racer and also an attitude of the journalists, because the journalists need the sport and the sport needs the journalists. So it's a symbiosis of two different parts, two different systems. They profit from each other. Without sport, the journalists cannot write, and without writing, the sports people cannot earn any money. So I think a sportsman, a professional sportsman, has always have to have a good attitude for the media. Otherwise, it's not working. The sports people, they are aggressive against the media. I think they are not working professionally because they are dependent from each another. And I was always very cooperative with the media, but also very strict. So I made short answers. I cannot make 3 hours interviews with every journalist that would explode, that would destroy my time schedule through the day. But I think you need to learn as a sportsman to be open to the media and not nervous to the media, because they have to do their job. And the journalists, they have to be aware that they cannot steal a lot of time from the sports athlete to destroy the attitude for the sport. But they have to live with each other. So that was my attitude when I was younger, but it is not always the case. There are some athletes, they didn't understand it. Probably they were not briefed from the managers, or they were too young to understand it, that the media have to profit from sport and sport have to profit from the media. This is a business. At the end, it's all about earning money, making a good show, and everybody can earn better money when the show is better. And the show is good with the sport and mixed together with the good journalism. And this was always my attitude. And I think a lot of athletes should be taught a little, briefed a little how they have to behave during a competition, on the privacy, in private life, in training. I think in America, the attitude from sport to media is better developed than in Europe or in Asia. I think they really have treatment, especially in the main sports like basketball, football, and baseball, because these are the biggest sports in the US. And I know it from professionals that they are even trained how to behave in front of the media. And I think that is a very professional attitude.
Let's talk about the little about survival. About how did you manage to overcome serious injuries and stay on the podium again? You suffered a lot of accidents in your career, and some people say, "Oh, that's the end of Marc Girardelli's career as a professional skier." But you return, and you return again. What's the secret?
You know that you said a key sentence, and the others were they were thinking, now Girardelli is finished, and that for me was the biggest motivation. You know, I want to prove the opposite, that they were wrong, and the biggest part of my career I could manage to come back, and this was also a big, positive motivation for myself. That I could motivate myself after expressions like this. Girardelli, he is done, he's finished after this accident. And this motivated me to train harder, longer, more intensive, and to focus more on the goal. This gave me a lot of energy. And I have to thank my critics in that time that they were really very negative against me. So this brought me back at the end because it gave me more energy for the end.
Maybe we live better during the 80s without a lot of technology, without internet. Maybe the 80s are more authentical than the present, and maybe you have more influences to auto-motivate it without a lot of technological inputs during the present, and maybe during the 80s we start a new kind of revolution.
You know, I think in the 80s, for sure, the sport we had was not so professional than it is now, 40 years later. But I think the spectators, they had the feeling to be closer to the athletes. When they visited the World Cup race in Kitzbühel, in Wengen, in Adelboden, in Sierra Nevada, they could come very close. They could come very close to the athletes. They can talk in the finish area. They can talk on the road. They can talk. They can talk in the hotel with the people. But this now is no more possible. It is a good luck if you meet Penturo or if you meet the Christopherson or Odermatt on the road. It's really a good luck if you do it. In old times, it was the regularity that you could meet the athletes. And we were also much closer when you watched the races. And I think the digitalization now made more distance to the athletes. And this is a little more unpersonalized. I think the feeling, the direct emotional contact to the athlete got lost a little. And this is the problem of a lot of sports athletes in the last years, that they are very good sports people, that they are good guys, but the people don't remember anymore then, because they see them only once the run, but they don't know anymore how they are looking like. They are no more
It's faster.
The personalities like Stenmark, like Phil Mayer, like Tomba, like Zurbrigg, and even now people remember our faces. But for example, Christopherson, or also in other sports, now Van Geer, the Tour de France winner, Pogacar, yeah, maybe they are not recognized because they look all the same, on the road. So in older times, the people had a better, a closer attitude to sport, and I think the interest was a little different than now.
And what do you think? What do you think about the current level in the World Ski Cup now?
The current level?
Yes, it's better than the other. What's your opinion about the present skiers?
For sure, the new quantum step with the carving ski changed our sport completely. We have different lines in giant slalom, much more turny. The pressure for the higher speed in the turns is so high that the athletes, they have to train physically completely different than we had to train in the 80s and the 90s. We had to do some coordination work, because to make a turn with our long skis, slalom skis, 2.05 meters and 80 meters radius, that was an acrobatic act to bring this kind of wooden tools around the corner. Now, yes, the situation is completely different. The ski has a format which can make the turn all by himself. It's like a automatic car. But the problem of the racer is to have the physical shape to stay on the ski when the ski makes the turn with the high speed. And the pressure is enormous in slalom like in downhill. But now the situation is completely different than 40 years ago. Now the ski makes the turn. You just have to be able to be with your body on the ski when the ski makes a turn. 40 years ago, 30 years ago, it was opposite. we had to make some movements from the body to make the ski doing a turn. So that was a force from the body to the ski. Now the ski makes the force to the body. So now it was up, down, and now it's down, up. So it's completely different system. It's not easy to understand for the spectator, but for the racer, it's a complete different situation.
No, I like a lot when you speak about the automatic cars between
the
other.
It's automatic.
It's an amazing comparison. If you look back, what do you keep, and what would you change?
When I look
speaking about your life.
About my sportive life or private life?
Whatever you want.
The sportive life for sure. I had a little special situation because I was racing for Luxembourg. Native Austrian, I was racing for Luxembourg, and we were a very little team. It was me, my father, and a serviceman for the skis. So we were only 3 people. And this was a completely different situation from a team like Germany, Austria, USA, or France. So they had a big group of trainers and suppliers. They took care of the training, of the race, of the preparation of food. We didn't have this luxury life when we were racing in the 80s and the 90s. So my training and my training was structured completely different from the training of a big team. Therefore, it was more complicated. We had to organize everything by ourselves. So I would now hire 1 or 2 people more, like, for example, a guy who takes care of nutrition, a guy who takes care of physical training and massage, to keep the body relaxed after a big effort of training and competition. I never had a massage during my whole skiing career because we strictly had no masseur around, maybe once in a season in the hotel, but this was not a professional massage. I never had a physical trainer throughout my whole career. I did everything myself, but this was
and you win 5 World Cups without anything.
Yeah, but now I know. When I was in, I didn't realize it in the way, but now I have a lot of time and distance to my career. I can see I could have optimized my training much better if I had diversified my structure with 1 or 2 more people. They organize different parts. So this would have been a big advantage for me during my career. On my private side, I would change. The change would have been much easier. I would have invested 100,000 euro in Microsoft beginning of the 80s, and I would be multi-millionaire now. So I wouldn't have to work anymore. That was the change I would do.
That's amazing. You have 4 yeses.
Yeah, okay.
You have created a clothing brand where safety is a very important detail. How were you born, or how did you learn about the idea of dedicating yourself to the world of the ski equipment and safety in the skier's body? How Marc Girardelli starts a brand?
The story was easy. I had a friend in school, in the grammar school. He was a big manager of textile, working also with Far East productions and so on. And he was managing a company in Germany who produces ski clothes for children. Mm-hmm. And then he asked me in the year 2004, 2005, if I would be interested to make a label with ski wear for kids. And then I said, okay, I have time. That's interesting. And we started with kids ski wear, then with adult ski wear. And we had the idea of protection, but this was an idea which didn't work that well. So after 2 years, we finished it. But now we are specialized on direct sales into ski schools, ski clubs, and whole ski resorts. For example, Madonna di Campiglio, we are producing for now the whole ski resort with our equipment, with our ski wear for Madonna di Campiglio. We have several other ski resorts in Austria, Italy, and Switzerland. And for example, we did also this year the Biathlon World Championships in Oberhof with 8,000 pieces of clothing. We produced this for the World Championships of Biathlon in northern Germany. So these are things we can do with our brand. Every customer can design his design in our on our configurator in the internet. And when he orders more than 20, 30 pieces, we can produce it. Production is in Europe. And usually when we get the orders end of April, we can produce it until October or November easy. So that is good. And we are only 2 people. Everything else is bought together. And so it's a very, very tiny company, but very efficient.
That's amazing. A few days ago, I speak by phone with Paula Fernandez Ochoa, the daughter of Paquito and the niece of Blanca. You have a good relationship with Blanca during the 1992 Olympic Games in Albertville.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your relationship with Marc Girardelli and the Ochoa's family, because they like a lot.
When I started to race FIS races in 1978, I was racing with Rossignol skis. And then the whole Rossignol team came together in Lac de Tine in Val d'Isère for summer ski camps and so on. And in these camps, I got to know Paco Ochoa. He was then a big star. He won already Olympic gold. He won a medal in St. Moritz. And he was a very, very sympathetic and open person, like you imagine this from a Spanish native. First, I thought he's a matador, but then he explained, no, I'm not a matador, I'm a skier. But he was skiing like a matador. And we had a really, really, really good relationship. Unfortunately, I never had the chance to visit him in Madrid or in Spain because we lost a little contact when he quit skiing in 1980. Then his sister, Blanca, came on the plan. She was so successful in the 80s, early 90s. Blanca was a fantastic person. She was so nice to everybody and open-minded, like his brother Paco. Like her brother Paco, and I really miss them both because we had a big friendship to each other, and I wish them all the best wherever they may be, and I hope when I'm once no more on this earth, I'm gonna meet them again.
And for the ending, finally, a question that I always like to ask to finish some interviews. Can you recommend a movie, a record, music, and a book?
A music, I would say Another Brick in the Wall from Pink Floyd.
Pink Floyd.
Yeah. You know, I have a lot of music. I'm not a specialist in music, but this is some music I remember in the 70s, 80s when I was young teenager. And I still like to hear this music because it recalls very nice memories. Then what we have a second?
Movie, music, a book.
Movie.
Cinema.
Movie.
What's the most Marc Girardelli's favorite movie?
The Godfather, maybe. It's a good movie. You can watch it more often. It's a little history behind it. And
it's one of the best movies.
One of the better movies. I know there are a lot of
cinema history
movies, docus. Usually, I watch more documentations. But a movie, I think with the Godfather, I think you always have a good choice.
You remember the downhill racer with Robert Redford?
Yes, I remember. But I saw it
movie.
only once. I saw it only once. And the number 3 was?
Book. What's your
book.
favorite lecture?
Yeah.
Literature.
Napoleon Hill, how to get think and get rich.
It's quite interesting.
You know the book?
No. I write.
The title is not right. It was written 100 years ago. A lot of contemporary books, they are written now. For example, Rich Dad, Poor Dad may be more familiar to you. It's an economical book. But Napoleon Hill, he was sponsored by Andrew Carnegie, one of the biggest economic industrialists in the States. He founded US Steel. And he got the job from Andrew Carnegie to study the situation, why some people get rich and why a lot of people stay poor. And he explained this in a very philosophical way in his book. And I really can advise everybody who hears this interview to buy the book and read it, because for me it became like an emotional Bible as a guideline for my life. And it is very, very good for a positive attitude in life.
That's amazing. I take note and I write the title. Marc Girardelli, what an honor. Thank you very much. You are a part of our lives. I hope you can live 70, 80, 90. We have a friend, Jordi Pons, is a Catalan alpinist and skier with 90 years old. Now he goes to the Eiger to climb the Eiger for the Mittelegi Grat.
Yes, I think
with
I read
90 years old.
Yeah, I think I read something about it. And I gonna plan to come to Spain in the next, let's say, 2 years. And when we come to Madrid, or you're in Barcelona.
Barcelona.
Barcelona we come definitely. So I gonna write you, and then maybe we have a drink together.
Oh, not only a drink. I invite to you an amazing dinner.
Okay.
And good. If I can go to Österreich, to Austria, we can take a schnitzel together.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love the chicken and
the Wiener
and
Schnitzel
the meat.
And the Kaiserschmarren, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vielen Dank, Marc.
You are welcome.
Thank you very much. Dankeschön.
Tudo bien. Un beijo. Huh?
And thank you for your time.